Is Will Hammond ready? The kid from Austin was this staff's highest ranked quarterback recruit ever. The original plan was to let him sit behind Behren Morton for 2 years and become the starter for the 2026 season. But Morton went down in the first drive of the second half in the biggest game of the Red Raiders season last year. Is Will Hammond ready? He went out and completed 13 of 16 passes for 169 yards, 2 tutties, and picked up another 61 yards on the ground. He was named Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. Is Will Hammond ready? Morton kept the starting job but fractured his fibula weeks later against Kansas. Hammond finished that game, got his first college start ever against ASU the next week, and then tore his ACL 2 quarters into his second start. Is Will Hammond ready? Texas Tech felt like they were a quarterback away from competing for a college football playoff trophy in 2025. Good old ligament healing is unpredictable, so they paid $5 million to sign the best quarterback on the market, Brendan Sorsby. Months later, as we've all seen in the news, it came to light that Sorsby's been placing bets on his own team in previous years, and that ultimately he will not be able to start for Texas Tech. So it begs the question, is Will Hammond ready? That one question's been hunting Texas Tech fans for years by now. And to answer that, I went and watched all 3 of his games in which he had meaningful action last year, which starts at the most underrated stadium in college football, Rice-Eccles. We head to week 4 of last year where the whole college football world was watching this game. I have 2 immediate takeaways from watching this game, and the first is that this dude plays like a former Texas Tech Red Raider, Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying he is Baker Mayfield, but the play style, it will remind you of him. He's got a little wheel route there, slant here, and then like a glance route there. He's ultimately going to check the ball down to the back, but look at him navigate the pocket. You know, he's kind of moving all over, but ultimately gets the ball down here. Immediately when you turn on the film, I don't see backup quarterback energy, and I realize right as I'm doing this, that's Behren Morton. Dang it, guys. That is not Will Hammond. I promise you that's the only Behren Morton play in this breakdown. I'm losing trust on you guys. Gosh dang it. I have 2 Behren Morton plays in here. The point still holds true because I have about 6 examples, but bear with me. Here's some Behren Morton clip, some tape. I can't believe I did that. He's ultimately going to hit this guy. It rolls out to the right. Hang with me. Hang with me. We're a transparent brand of film watchers here. Texas Tech played like 3 quarterbacks in this game, so sorry. I pulled Behren Morton clips for the Will Hammond breakdown. Back to your originally scheduled program, and this is a big-time throw. He gets put into the game. Oftentimes when you have backup quarterbacks that come into the game off the bench, it's like, oh, let's ease him into that. No, because Texas Tech's going to go vertical route here. This tight end's got to run, dude. He's slow on this one. He's ultimately going to hit this dig route right here, and I want you to pay attention to 3 defenders. This corner who's got eyes on, this Will linebacker, and this defensive end. This defensive end is going to put pressure right in his grill right away. That's really hard on a 2nd and 3rd along hitting this dig route. This corner's inside leverage, eyes on. He knows this dig route's coming, so it's not necessarily open per se. And then this Will backer is going to leak into here. And so if he's late at all, this is a kill shot or an interception. But he hangs in the pocket. He trusts his ability to throw with anticipation and make this big time throw. This does not scream backup quarterback, guy who hasn't played that much reps. That screams a dude with a lot of confidence. It continues here into the Baker Mayfield mold. Hence why I confused him with Behren Morton. They got a little out route by this slot. It's a phenomenal route. They got a go route on the top of the screen. He's ultimately going to get flushed out to his right. There's inside pressure from this defensive tackle right up in his grill. Not easy to navigate that. You're on the road, but he finds that slot receiver on the out route. This feels Baker Mayfield-y type of mobility. Get out of the pocket. Ooh, I forgot about that. He's already pulled this trigger. This linebacker is right in the window. This corner's breaking off. That's not the biggest window. If he's late at all, again, that could be a kill shot, interception, or at the very least an incomplete pass. Instead, it's a nice, 2nd level throw or 2nd layer throw when the first layer breaks down. Here later on in the second half, he's got 1-on-1 on the outside. This is an absolute dime over the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, ball out, not tentative, putting it right on the money. That's big time, and it happens again later on in this game. That throw we just saw was over the top, a level 3 ball, putting air on it. This, he's tighter towards the end zone, so this ball's got to get up and down in a hurry. Vertical shot here. It's be a little more of a level 2 football where he's not, putting it sky high, but some arc to allow his receiver to run under it. This is a dime. Again, first meaningful action on the road against what was at the time one of the best defenses in the country, or people thought so, that's big time. If the first thing that jumps out was the Baker Mayfield type of play style, the second thing that jumps out from this game that you have to know if you're wondering, hey, who is this Will Hammond guy, is that design quarterback runs are a huge part of his game, or at least were in 2025, because in 2026, this is an area of concern. While it's a strength in this film, it's an area of concern for me moving forward, because if that leg's not right, or this coaching staff's, I don't love the idea of running our quarterback, he's losing a huge piece of his game, because in this Utah game, there were probably 6 to 8 design quarterback runs called. Here, this is QB lead draw. You're going to lead up, and then he's going to act like he's passing, and he's going to break down the left-hand side, setting up blockers. Texas Tech would have 7 hats blocking, and Behren Morton being the 8th guy that's obviously running the rock. This was a rush of 31 yards. I believe that's what the count was, and rightfully so. They went back to that exact same play later on in the game, blocking back. Behren Morton getting, I believe this was like an 8-yard gain on this play. Nothing fancy, kind of youth football style. Just get the rock in an athlete's hands, get a hat for a hat, and he's able to come up with a big gain. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel. The metrics tell me that most of you guys aren't subscribed, and doesn't really cost you anything and helps me out a bunch. Appreciate you. We then head to 2 weeks later, where again the QB run game flashed against Kansas. Again, 6 to 8 quarterback runs. This one was not a design call. It's going to be zone read to the right. He's reading this defensive end. He crashes. Then Will Hammond is out the gate. Picked up big chunk here. Making people miss, getting excited. This one was a design run call, and the reason I know that is this guy right here. He's in motion, working to block back, and then Hammond's going to leak down the right side, and I believe he scores on this play. But he got 7 lead blocking on the safety, get an extra hat, his mobility on full display. That's more of, zone read, or at least the first one was. This is quarterback power, also QB run game, just a different scheme. This left guard is going to pull, lead the way. This tight end also leading the way. Hammond is going to delay for a sec and then follow his lead blockers, picks up a first down on this one. This is a design quarterback run. If I'm OC for Texas Tech, I'm very scared about calling this in September of this year if the knee is in question at all. Again, quarterback power, big part of the game plan. Right guard coming around, lead blocker here. Will Hammond falling the way. Scores at the front left pylon in this one. Mobility, very much of a factor, right? Baker Mayfield-esque. I know the first 2 plays I showed were Behren Morton in this, but Baker Mayfield-esque. But in that same Kansas game, yes, the legs were working. He was not good from the pocket in this game. He was not processing his reads. He had a post up here. This is in the first quarter, one of the early drives. He has a over route here by this receiver. This receiver in motion coming right to left is then going to have a dig route here. He's wide ass open. And then his running back in the backfield will check down into the flat. He's wide ass open. Will Hammond's not getting to his 3rd and 4th progression on this. He's getting front side. That's a clean enough pocket. This dig route's coming open, but more importantly, this back. There's a lot of green grass right there. If you feel that all these defenders are getting soft in the back, your quarterback IQ should go off of like, you know what? I need to find my check down, get a completion, move on, and don't rely on my mobility. And, he's trying to make something happen. And I'm sure, the announcers may have been like, oh, coverage sack. Well, no, there's 2 receivers open on that play. Here he misses a guy again. They're going to switch release where the outside receiver comes in and he's going to curl right around. And then the inside receiver goes out for a curl. He gets locked in on this receiver, but he's blanketed and covered the whole way. But the outside receiver that's coming in, there's an alleyway to drive this football. This is open, no questions asked in Division I football. It's a play fake. His eyes are there the whole time. Rip that into the window. That's a missed opportunity on 2nd and 12 to pick up a first down. Here we have another switch release. This receiver is going to come and curl in. This receiver is going to work behind him and work a vertical route. Got a hitch on the outside. Hammond locks into this receiver, but there is nothing about this defensive structure that tells you, hey, this guy's open. You got a safety over the top here. You got a linebacker at depth, eyes on, waiting for that switch release. You got a middle linebacker that is relatively deep. I mean, this is a tight window. This is Hammond forcing the football. And to me, this is probably a design they practice all week in practice and loved on paper. You get to a game, still got to read it out. Instead, bad decision, interception. This Kansas defense makes you pay. And then here, you know how I keep making the Baker Mayfield reference? Well, part of what Baker's specialty was in college is, he might pick one side and it's broken down, goes back to the left or goes back to the right and, makes a play. Well, the vulnerability with that is if you pick a side and don't stick with it, you might leave completions out on the field. And that's the perfect example here. He's got a corner route there, little delayed in, and then he's backed out. But this receiver is open, and this receiver is coming in motion. They're trying to get the right leverage against this defender who's outside. This is the exact look that you want for this route, where he's going to break out, and then once this defender triggers, he's going to cut against the grain and try to capture all this green grass here. Yes, Morton gets pressure in his face, but that slot receiver to his left is open. But instead, he gets frazzled, goes to the left. Oh, I don't like that. Comes back to his right, misses number 3 right there on the logo, and instead it's a completion or an incompletion. They miss a 3rd and 6 opportunity, yet that receiver and that play call is open. He wasn't processing well from the pocket in that Kansas game. But when we go to the very next week, the 3rd data point in the ASU game, I thought he played well, and this one play is just everything you need to know about Will Hammond. The great and what concerns you. And here's what I mean. They're going to dial up like a double post concept to the field, trying to drive defenders away so this slot receiver can work an over route. And believe it or not, this slot receiver ultimately ends up catching a touchdown on the front pylon. You got a little curl route on the backside. This is an absolutely incredible throw. But it's also the type of throw that could have easily been picked. And it's the type of throw that if it was incomplete, he's getting negatively graded when they go back and watch the film. Reason being is when I pause it right here, does this receiver right here look open at all? I don't think so. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 ASU defenders that could potentially make a play on this football. Again, this route's going to the front pylon here. Underneath it, when you sense all that soft coverage, is a dude in this running back who's got miles of green grass in front of him. And so on one side with Will Hammond, you love his aggressiveness. This is not a tentative backup quarterback that's just, let me take what the defense gives me and don't make the catastrophic mistake. No, this dude is playing like a high-level starter. The flip side, though, is I don't think he is 100% polished from the pocket, because you should feel this as a quarterback, check this ball down, get the completion and move on. Because this throw, while albeit it is incredible, it's the type of throw when you're offensive coordinator, you're like, no. Yes, great throw, great job, love it. But the whole time, the coach is probably cussing at him through the microphone to just check the ball down. Oh, and I forgot I included this. This is just one last throw for good measure. I thought it was impressive. Late in this game, back shoulder fade ball, 4th quarter, have to come up with a touchdown to keep this game close. He paints it on him. The dude can sling the rock. So, with all that, is Will Hammond ready? The truth is, we won't really know until the Red Raiders line up against Houston on September 18th. But I do know 2 things for sure from watching that film. 1, Will Hammond, no doubt, has the ability to be a high-level college starter. The arm talent and mobility, aggressiveness, 100% there. But then 2, the leg, for me, is even more of a concern after watching this film, because the design quarterback runs and just his overall mobile style of quarterbacking is very much part of his game. And if that ACL ain't right, or there's concern from the coaches about play calling and even running him in the first place, that totally changes his skill set and what he's walking into the park in 2026 with. And I said that September matchup against Houston, but it might not even be clear by then. It'll be 5 days until Thanksgiving before Texas Tech will even face a defense that's in the top 25 in terms of returning production. Shoot, we might have to wait until the Big 12 championship game before Tech plays a defense like BYU. Shoot, they could miss BYU, and maybe we're not even getting our answer until 2027 when Texas Tech gets a first round bye and we're talking about playoff matchups. But one way or another, we're eventually going to get our answer. Is Will Hammond ready? But hopefully this video was our best data point to this date. What do you think? Is Will Hammond ready? Drop a comment down below and let me know. And if you watched this far, I appreciate you. Do me a solid, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send this to someone who you think will enjoy this content. And check out the video on the next frame. It's recommended specifically for you. See you next time.